In the long history of musical expression, title tracks are a relatively recent invention, ushered in the 20th century as the album became the dominant form of music consumption. Before albums, you just had to trust Mozart when he told you that Violin Concerto No. 23 in D major was a banger. A title track, though, gives you information, just like a title itself. When I see a title track, it's like there's a big-ass neon sign from the artist telling me that if there's one song I should listen to from the album, it's this one. So what makes a good title track? First and foremost, a good title track has to sound good. There's no point in being super deep with your title if the song isn't good. On that note, I would like to enter Bad As I Wanna Be by Skizzy Mars from Bad As I Wanna Be by Skizzy Mars into evidence. Bad As I Wanna Be is an absolute banger. It starts off with some ethereal synths before it kicks into high gear and makes you want to take 3 shots and run through a fucking wall. This is classic Skiz, working at the intersection of pop and rap, but Skiz has taken a more radio-friendly approach to this album, whatever that means, and it just sounds really good. Bad As I Wanna Be the song is hype while retaining a sense of wistful, hopeless romanticism, which also basically sums up Bad As I Wanna Be the album. Side note, I would like to personally thank Skizzy Mars for his service in the Great Banger War against the encroaching forces of Antipop. I don't even hate anti-pop, which is such a broad term. I am just sick of artists making the worst song you've ever heard in your fucking life just to prove how anti-pop they are. I blame whichever one of you motherfuckers gave these albums a 10 out of 10. Now everyone has lost their goddamn mind. Unironically, make music Pitbull again. Bad As I Wanna Be serves as an appetizer for the rest of the album, but a title track can also tie together disparate tracks on an album, as Red by Taylor Swift does on Red by Taylor Swift. Red the album serves as a big turning point in Taylor Swift's music. Most people point to 1989 as the album where Taylor converts from country to pop, but I'd say she's about 70% of the way there on Red. Red the song is a good example of this. It's very intense and leans into rock, which is very different than Taylor's previous title tracks, Fearless and Speak Now, which are much gentler and talk about finding love in the Christian, no sex before marriage sense. Red, on the other hand, is about the burning passion of love, which is very un-Jesus-like. Red the song served as a sort of rebranding for early 20s Taylor, but also serves an important artistic purpose on Red the album. The Last Time, which sounds like it could be on Evermore, and Holy Ground, which sounds like it could be on Fearless, on the surface have very little in common, but when tied together by Red, serve as foils for how the fire of love can pull you in 2 different directions. Speaking of Taylor Swift, T-Swizzle makes an appearance on Us by Gracie Abrams from The Secret of Us by Gracie Abrams. The Secret of Us was preceded by its lead single, Risk, an upbeat acoustic song that was very different than Gracie's previous slow burn, sad girl persona music. Combined with an album title like The Secret of Us, I thought we were getting a Gracie in Love album about 2 star-crossed lovers. Not so. It turns out the secret is that Gracie's boyfriend is a bad boyfriend. Most of The Secret of Us talks about the weird, confusing part of love that comes after the honeymoon stage, when you're falling in and out of love at the same time. Us captures the feeling of realizing that your lust and infatuation might just be that and not true love after all. Most of the title tracks we've looked at so far appear in the first few songs of the album, which is the dominant meta, but putting your title track later in the album can lend some juice to your narrative structure, like it does on Purple Rain, featuring Purple Rain. First and foremost, Purple Rain is a classic long-ass song. It feels like the end credits to Life and is right up there with Jungle Land for best long-ass songs. Purple Rain the song also stands out on Purple Rain the album. Purple Rain is by far the longest song on Purple Rain, and sounds quite different than the rest of the songs on Purple Rain. While most of Purple Rain the album is dance rock in the vein of you better dance for your fucking life, Purple Rain the song is a melancholic ballad about saying goodbye. It takes the dance rock of the album, which might be dismissed as frou-frou fluff music for youths, and elevates it into something greater. In the opening lines of Let's Go Crazy, the opening track of Purple Rain, Prince says, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Purple Rain, the song, then, is the end of both the album and life, and Prince's way of saying to us, y'all better get the fuck out there and start dancing and feeling good, because one day, you're gonna have to say goodbye to all of this. So before we say goodbye, I wanna talk about one of my favorite albums of the year, Supernova by Sophie Cates. And you guessed it, Supernova by Sophie Cates is a heater off Supernova. It starts off with these abrasive guitars before Sophie comes in, just absolutely spitting bars. This song does not play around. It is so fucking good, and it does everything we want a title track to do. It leans into hyperpop while remaining genreless, giving you a taste of what the rest of the album is like. It ties together electronic and acoustic songs under the thematic umbrella of Fuck My Ex, and it serves narrative purpose in the album, kicking Supernova into high gear after its first two more pensive, reflective songs. It's expression, it's art, it's music.